Hello everyone and welcome back. So today I bought something that is a Valentine's Day release and it is by Winky Lux and they put this out just in time for the season. Now some people are really into this, some aren't. Personally, I'm not a big Valentine's Day person. I never have been, but you know, some people are and they enjoy sending the love to themselves via buying nice little collections around this time of year, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I've actually been trying a few things by Winky Lux recently, and so this kind of, it flagged me and was like, hey, guess what? There's this deal going on where you can buy the palette, the Smitten Palette, with one of the new heart lipsticks that they are putting out, and it's $28. When normally the palette, the Smitten Palette, which is here, would be $22, and the lipstick here in one of the three colors, there's a red, an orange, and a pink, are $14. So there you go. You save some money when you bought them together, and it was a limited deal. And then on top of it, I used a coupon, yeah, for 10% off. So yeah, it ended up being a really great deal for me. So no complaints after it was done. I think it was a fair deal. So I created this whole look today wearing both the palette and the lipstick. And I'm going to be honest with you, which I'm sure you can see right now looking at the lipstick. It is not necessarily the most flattering color for my skin tone. I do feel it's a little bit bright, so we're just going to start there. This is the pink one. Now, it's just a Barbie pink color, and I'm looking at it right now. I couldn't really wear it this week because I felt like it was just too jarring, especially for this time of year. You know, it's still winter here, deep winter, and wearing a color like this at this time of year just seemed kind of strange. But I don't tend to wear shades like this anyway. But this is the lipstick, so this is what fully out, like this. So this is what it looks like. And there's the heart. Yeah, so it's really cute. Definitely Valentine's Day inspired. What I will say is that for $14, this isn't going to last you long because it isn't like a regular lipstick because of the shaping. There is not as much product in there. Which you can see, there's just not as much product. So it actually, to me, seems a little bit expensive for what it is. But again, it's a novelty item, so you kind of know that going into it. But I'm just going to reapply it because you can see here, it's on, but it's a little bit patchy. So, though I have it on, I just want to fill it in a little bit more. And it does fill in, but it's just a little patchy. And part of the reason is this is extremely moisturizing. Extremely moisturizing. So when you have it on your lips, you're moving it around and it moves a lot because of the moisture in it. So if you have dry lips at this time of year and you don't mind throwing on a color that, you know, some people may see as a little bit more spring or summer, and you're like, I don't care, I don't follow those rules. Yeah, I like you. So, you know, then this is going to be fine for you maybe, but I do feel that a color like this is going to be very hard for a lot of people to pull off just because it has such a strong white base to it that it's just, it may not necessarily be that flattering on a lot of skin tones, and I don't necessarily find that it is the best for me. It doesn't mean that won't be for you, but looking at this is just a little bit too much for me, I think, and not necessarily the most flattering shade for this look. But I wanted to use everything that I bought with this collection together because of that. So I did wear this around the house just because I didn't, again, want to wear this out. I just don't necessarily think it's the best color for me. It definitely is a fun color if you're into those Barbie pinks with the white kind of cast underneath, but it does have an okay wear time because it is so moisturizing. There's a lot of transfer. It doesn't really stain the lips too much. It leaves a little bit, but it disappears really easily if you use like a balm and remove it. But for the most part, it's just, it's not going to last long because it's extremely moisturizing, which I don't know if you can tell by my lips. It's almost like a balm. It's like a lipstick and a balm. So it's very comfortable, but there's going to be a lot of transfer, especially if you're like drinking tea or something this time of year. You know, it's not going to last. Don't go get a bowl of udon with this, because I wouldn't recommend that with lipstick anyway, because it's going to leave a mess unless you have like one of those tints that stain. So yeah, as far as the lipstick, and I'll put to the side the other shades. There's a red and there's an orange. I don't know how those work because I am a cool tone, and honestly, an orange is going to look horrendous on me as a cool tone creature. So, and then red, I have enough reds that I was like, oh, I want to go with the pink, and I thought it would be a little bit more of a kiss of pink, and that wasn't necessarily the case. It most definitely is like this. So moving on to the palette, because I wanted to explain this away right quick. This is the Smitten Palette, and what I will say about Winky Lux is their packaging is absolutely amazing. It's one of the things that I really love about their collections is they just are really fabulous at the packaging aspect, and I really love that. It's just beautiful. It's almost like this Victorian kind of idea. Now this palette comes with ooh, sorry, I have something on my face. This palette comes with 6 shadows, which are all here on the back. And you open this up, and the palette pops out, and there's this little guy in here. So you can actually use this box, and I'm going to keep this box because it's wonderful, and I have some ideas for it that you can see later on, but it will come back up in future videos. But this is actually the size of the palette. So, you know, I do have kind of larger hands for a female, but, you know, it's small. So, it's 6 shades. So it's kind of a little taste of some of their eyeshadows. And you flip it open. It does have a magnet, which you can see right here. And there are the 6 shadows. Now what I will say is the packaging here is really gorgeous, and even here, but when you open it, it looks a little bit not as expensive when you open it up, and I think part of it is creating a package out of a heart out of cardboard is a little bit difficult, I think, and so that's why it looks a little bit wah wah when you open it, but I'm okay with this because this is completely recyclable. You just have to pull the magnet out and call it a day. So I really like that. Actually, you just pull the pans out, recycle this. So I'm okay with it, but some people may go, but I like it. It's very eco-friendly and it's fine. The outside packaging's gorgeous. It's not like a compact where you're taking it around, you know, so I don't think anyone's gonna go, you know, over it. So no big deal. But again, you have 6 shadows here, and you have 3 kind of shimmer tones, and then 3 matte shades, and through the middle are the more shimmery tones, and then the neutrals and this pop of green are the matte shades. So it's kind of interesting when you look at it. It was kind of an impulse buy for me. I wouldn't normally buy something like this, but I was up late at night and I just was like, yeah, this seems like a good idea. Not that I have a problem with Winky Lux. Actually, I've used a few of the products and I'll be doing some more reviews here on them. It's just, it's not normally a palette that I would go for. And especially for 6 shades for $22, some people may think that's a little bit steep. But I was like, it was a good deal. Like I said, it was $28 for the 2 items plus the 10% off, so I wasn't going to complain. But it definitely isn't like the most exciting palette, and I think we've all seen a lot of these colors before. What I do like about this palette, though, is that it's very workable. Like if you were going on a trip, okay, sans the green and the pink. If you remove the green and the pink, this would be actually quite a lovely palette on its own, and it would be really good if you're doing like an overnight travel or if you're going on a weekend jaunt. This would be absolutely amazing, actually, and very usable. And that's what I would use this for, is definitely like a weekend jaunt. Now, it's not going to be necessarily the most exciting looks, you know, it's very neutral if you use these 4, but who cares? You know, bring some exciting lipsticks and make this palette work. I do not know what that is. Yeah. There it went. Anyway, so these 2 are a little bit more if you want a little pop of color and to make your look a little bit exciting. What I will say is, this green to me just doesn't quite fit in. You know, I can deal with the pink tone. I actually think the pink tone goes in well. I'm actually wearing it today. I'm wearing I'm actually wearing these 4 colors here, and I have worn this one here before too, but I'm using all these to create this look, including the pop of pink in the corner. So I really like this pink. I think it's really easy to be intimidated by something like this, but if you put it in the corner and then you mix it with these guys and blend it together, it's very wearable as a just nice pop of color. You could do it across the lid and go a little bit more dramatic, but you could also use it like this. What I did find with this pink though is that if you used this and mixed it with this one specifically, it created almost this beautiful like pinky lavender color. So it was absolutely beautiful. So what I liked about this collection was that you could take the different colors and mix them together and create a different color. So yeah, so the other things that I used was this isn't like a black, it's almost like a charcoal gray, and I mixed this color here with this to work in the corner V. So like for this look specifically, you're going to have to bring in another palette to do a base coat. So I've been using like a white shadow, and I just used a white shadow to prep the eyes. Any generic matte will work. And then I came in with this, which is a perfect crease color for somebody of my tone, and even to, I'd say, medium light. This is going to work really well, and you could really build it up quite nicely. So I went in lightly and built it up lightly, and it worked really well, but you could definitely build it up. And I think that'll work on a lot of skin tones. And what I like about this palette is you can go in with this, start with this one, dip in lightly, and then mix this, and then you could darken the crease. If you're somebody with a deeper skin tone, these are just absolutely fabulous in this way, because I didn't think I'd use this, and I actually been using it a lot. So I'd use this as the crease and then put these two colors together and work in the corner V and go under the eye, and it worked beautifully. And you could completely, like if you dip in the darker one first and then go into this lighter shade, you can really create a shade that's going to work for you. So this is very workable for many skin tones. And then you have more of this like cool neutral kind of tone for the lid, and then this one that is more warm tone, but I used it a lot, and it actually was very warm neutral, so it didn't like scream on my eye like, what are you doing? You know, it actually worked really well. I'm going to be honest, I did not use this green. I do not tend to use green colors that often, unless they're more of like a muted khaki green, which I think is a lot more wearable. This is just going to be a hard sell for most people. So I think most people are going to skip on this one because it's just a difficult color. Also, the problem with it is it really doesn't go with anything. I mean, it could go with these two here and even this, but I mean, like these 5 colors go together really nicely for a cohesive look. This just kind of is like, brr, you know, how to get there. You know, it's just like, we're going to put a shocking green in there. Yeah. Valentine's Day. It just doesn't scream Valentine's Day. So it would have been interesting if they'd put like a red in there maybe. A red or a different shade of pink, even like a purpley color. But this green is just, St. Patrick's Day isn't here yet. Yeah. So honestly, I did not use this color because it's just not something I would gravitate to. Maybe one day I'll do a palette challenge and try to find a way to use it. We'll see. But, yeah, so this one's just not going to get the love that maybe it deserves because it's just not what I use. And I think a lot of people tend to avoid the greens, but if you don't, you are awesome. If you use them all the time, you're my hero, because something like this wouldn't work for me, especially with my skin tone, a little too jarring. But, so yeah, as far as wear time, these guys lasted a long time, actually. I'm always impressed. I have used Winky Lux, their kitten palette, which I absolutely love and did a review on. This is the same type of thing. It really lasts a long time. They're really smooth, they're really blendable, and they lasted all day for me. I'd say around the 8 to 10 hour mark, they started to get, because I have really oily eyes, after prepping them, because I prep my eyes with a primer, around the 8 to 10 hour mark, you started to see there was a little bit of fading where the oil had kind of pushed through a little bit, but 8 to 10 hours for somebody with extremely greasy eyelids, not bad. That's a really good quality palette. I was actually really happy. Every time I'd go and check my, face in the mirror, I'd go, oh wow, it's still there. It's the same thing with the kitten palette. Really great. So I really enjoy that. The quality is really nice. What I will say is that the pink here does tend to fade a little bit. I do have it in the corner, and I've done this before with a look similar to this. After a while, the pink does start to fade a little bit faster than some of these other colors, especially the mattes. So it wasn't a shocking pink in about, I would say, even a couple hours, it started to lose that intensity. And then it goes down to a really nice kind of neutral kind of pink. It isn't this bright pink, but it settles down to a nice color. But if you really want that bright pop of pink, you may be a little disappointed because it eventually kind of dissipates a little bit during the day. Even within a couple hours, it started losing that intensity. And about 4 or 6 hours in, it just really wasn't this huge pop of color that it once was. I will say about the shimmers as well, they're really beautiful, but you're going to have to build them up. It takes a while to build these guys up. It doesn't happen immediately. I used my fingers. I usually tend to use my fingers rather than use a brush. That's just my style of working with shimmers and things. And so I really had to go in there about 2 or 3 times to really get it to the opaqueness that I wanted. But it did. After about 3 swipes, it was there and it looked beautiful, and it didn't fade as much as this pink one. For whatever reason, it just did not want to stay. So yeah, that's the quality of these guys. All right, so what I'm going to do is quickly swatch these because, you know, why not? There's only like 6 colors here. So I'm going to start with the, you know what, I'm going to start with the lighter colors first because it just kind of makes sense. The other ones are kind of dark. So here they are. These are more of the shimmer tones. And as you're seeing, the one is really hard to see right here. And part of it is it's my skin tone. It's just hard to see. So you're going to have to build these up. These do build up. They're quite beautiful, but you're going to have to do a couple swipes for it to really show on the lid. But you can see that they're really, you know, they're lighter tones, and part of it is my skin tone is so fair that it's hard for shades like these to really show up. So if you are, you know, have a deeper complexion than I do, which most people do, you know, these are going to show up really nicely on you. Now, onto the matte shades. Yes, these do not disappoint. Here we go. See, it's more of like this purple kind of charcoal color. It's not as black as it appears. Oops, I just got that one on there twice. Yeah, let me get that. What was I thinking? So it was actually this one. I know, you get 2 for the price of 1. So this is that great crease color that I was talking about. I just really wanted to show off that pink. So this is this wonderful color here that I used for the crease color. That's the one that I was missing. So here you go. So as you can see with the black one, it's not really black. It looks more black than it really is. It's kind of like this charcoal, almost purpley gray to it. It's really kind of interesting. So it goes in nicely. It's not quite as stark as it appears, which you can see right there. So it's not as intimidating as it looks. It has really great pigment to it, but it's just not as, it looks like this dark charcoal, but it's this beautiful purpley kind of charcoal. So yeah, you can see these are really great pigment to them. They're really beautiful. The mattes especially are fantastic. But yeah, so these are the items. What do I think? I really like the palette. You know, again, yes, it seems very limiting. Except for the green color, though, I think these work together really well. The green just didn't really make sense. It's like, where did this come from? It just doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of this palette. But I can overlook it. But again, if you're paying $22 for a palette and there's 6 shadows, do you really want something that's going to stick out? The other thing I do want to point out, to save you some change if you're curious about this, if you already have the Bon Bon palette from Too Faced, you do not need this. And I'm going to point out why right here. Ta-da! Yes, they're almost identical, except the only thing is there isn't that bright green and there isn't that charcoal color. The other 4 colors are completely, well, not completely, but almost completely dupable. It's not completely, I said completely twice, but it's very dupable. Is it exact? No, but you've seen this before. So if you have the Bon Bon palette, don't really get this unless you're dying for this green, and honestly you can get this elsewhere in a single, save yourself some money. But if you don't have the Bon Bon palette or anything that is close to this, may I suggest picking it up. You know, it is kind of steep, you know, 6 shades for $22, but I like it. It's really a decent quality. If you can get it on sale, I would recommend it. I would definitely say this palette more leans towards like $15 is what I would put it at, 15 to 18. Hopefully you can get it that price, and it's big thumbs up. As far as this, I would probably mark this more $8 to $10 than $14 because there's really not a lot of product, and honestly, for me, it's not very wearable. If I had to do it all over again, I most likely wouldn't pick this up because I don't really see myself wearing this color, and I don't know any of my friends who are going to use this. So I'm going to have to find a way to incorporate this into my life during the summer and spring because I definitely don't want to waste it. But the good thing is it looks like it will not last long because it's very conditioning and takes a lot of product to build it up. So I think it'll probably only last like a month anyway. So it's totally cool. So yeah, that is my review for the Winky Lux Valentine Day collection. Let me know what you think because I'm curious to see. Do you even buy anything for Valentine's Day? I usually don't, but I did in Color Pops last year. I'm skipping Color Pops this year, but I was like, oh, why not? Yeah, impulse buy. So anyway, that's my review. Have a fabulous day, and until next time, bye.